would go over by 4 minutes on a consistent basis. Nielsen goes ahead and gives them credit for the entire quarter hour. Come on, there's 4 minutes of that quarter hour, yet Nielsen gives them credit.
It's not even competitive anymore. It used to be fun. Tuesdays used to be fun because we get the Nielsen ratings on Tuesday afternoons at 4 o'clock. We used to look forward to that because it was competitive. You felt like you were in a race. It's not even a race anymore. We're so far ahead of them.
Vince McMahon won the war. WWF beat WCW, but who won the personal battle between Eric Bischoff and McMahon? Looking at the ratings battle results from 1995 to 2000, when both were in charge of their companies. (1995) WCW got a perfect opportunity as they went unopposed in the first week, establishing the show as must-see TV with one of the most memorable moments in history, the return of Lex Luger. WCW already had a similar TV audience to WWF's Raw on its Saturday night show. The move not only brought all of them to Monday, but created new ones with Eric's fresh, never-before-seen format of big star power segments and matches on weekly television. Vince continued his traditional wrestling format, not adapting to cultural changes, showing disconnect with the fan base. (1996) Vince and Eric were trading wins for the first 5 months of the year, Eric building around his established stars, Hogan, Savage, Flair, Sting, Luger. Vince building around Bret, Michaels, Diesel, Razor, and Taker. WWF then got a big boost with the return of the Ultimate Warrior, leading to a string of victories. The game changer, not only for that year but for the entire history of the industry, came in late May. Scott Hall debuted on WCW, bringing Nash with him and shortly after forming the revolutionary NWO. From that point, the gap grew monthly, making it less and less of a competition. (1997) 97 was a clean sweep for WCW. The NWO continued its dominance on the industry, now also connecting the audience with big baby faces like Sting, Luger, Flair, and DDP. Unlike previous years, WWF adapted to the competition, producing a more aggressive, edgy product almost every month of the year. Connecting big with Bret Hart's heel turn and Canadian group going against Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels. The biggest game changer to date for Vince was his real-life situation with Bret in Montreal. From that point Vince Russo took over creative, building the shows around Hart, McMahon, Michaels teasers, taking the show's format to another level. (1998) 98 was the most competitive year for Eric and Vince. Not only fighting for the existing audience, but creating a completely new fan base of the wrestling industry. Both shows were breaking cable TV record almost every week. Eric's WCW opened the year at its absolute peak, breaking records with Sting, and then Randy Savage going against Hogan. The debut of Hart against Flair, and the tease of problems between Nash, Hall and the NWO. Later producing a new megastar in Goldberg. Vince got big boosts with Tyson's involvement, then the start of his program with Austin, who was entering his peak. Eventually building to the final stamp of the wars with Rock exploding to the main event and turning heel. Important note here is that while the Russo and McMahon connection were producing more edgier shows than ever, from August '98, Turner standards and practices got involved heavily, demanding to tone down the content of the show, a major damaging move considering the close competition. (1999) 99 was a clean sweep for Vince. WCW started the year hotter than ever with a return of the original NWO, going against Goldberg and Flair. WWF's fresh, all-time great top of the card of Rock, Austin, Foley, and the McMahons, along with a revolutionary format, proved to be the deciding factor. WCW's original hot run ended with injuries to Hogan, Goldberg, and Hall, combined with corporate political games denying Bischoff chances to come back like a lucrative prime-time NBC deal. The gap increased to record levels, leading to WCW removing Eric from his position at the start of September, ending the competition for the year. That was also the end of both Vince and Eric in charge of every aspect of their production, as Eric never came back to his original role. In 2000, Vince was continuing his record-breaking run for another sweep, this time on Eric with Russo only as creative producers, not in charge of the company. Eric was involved from the April 10th show, until the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view in July, ending his run with a real-life fallout with Russo. After the company was gaining momentum under Russo's first regime, politics and injuries ended probably the last chance to recreate competition. The second regime with Eric had a good start and increased numbers, but the timing was suicidal as Rock was peaking WWF business in April and May to all-time record pay-per-view buys and TV ratings of over 10 million viewers. Eric was gone from the company at a time Vince was in control, so the numbers would have been different if he stayed. If he could turn it around at some point, we will never know. In head-to-head competition, Eric's WCW won 112-86.